Good evening, it's Kuro. Got another ranked game in my Shimakaze. This game, uh, it's it plays out a lot differently than Tears of the Desert normally plays out. Um, and I included it. Basically, I'm facing a destroyer, another Shimakaze. I have RPF, he does not, and I think it sort of plays a difference in how we're able to approach this game. And basically what's going to happen is both me and this Shimakaze, we're both going to exchange caps. I'm basically going to come up around here and I'm using RPF to try to decide where he is. At one point it looks like he's starting to come south, so I duck down under the island, and instead he like does some weird sort of push up in through here. Um, and at we just basically end up flipping each other's caps. And once we cap the other base, we both, he goes to hunt for damage, whereas I basically drop some go away torps on an enemy cruiser, and I head right back and I back cap. And by doing this, um, you'll end up seeing what happens where um, regardless of what's going on A, we basically lock this Shimakaze down to this box, and if the game continued, he'd just be an easy kill, where he'd just get farmed. So, like I said, just different ways to play the map. Again, it's important to when it's important to get the first points tick for your team. I pop my speed boost, and I mean you can look and see how many more points it's going to get my team. I'm starting to think that this Shimakaze was actually spawned closer to A, and he crossed his team to come all the way to C cap. So yeah, I mean we've got almost a 14-point advantage on him, which doesn't seem like it isn't much, but those points can mean something if the game gets crazy. So at this point, this is where I think that the guy is starting to come south. And again, I don't know how many are coming down here. The meta seems like usually 2 or 3 ships. I'm usually I'm one of the only Shimikazes that actually feel comfortable playing just this delaying role. And I mean, because I'm alone, I have to play super careful. So you're gonna notice I'm not gonna like go out of the way to pick fights until I really know what it is I'm facing. Because if I die, my team loses the entire south side of the map. They're gonna get flanked and boxed into this northern corner of the map, so I cannot let that happen. So what I'm doing, you're gonna see me sitting stern on a lot, and I'm not even gonna be reversing at the enemy. I'm expecting the enemy seeing this many ships. We've got 6 ships up here already that are probably spotted. They should be going heavy if they've got, 1 or 2. If they've got 2 ships, definitely. So I am just being patient, waiting to see if, you know, the ship's gonna actually push closer into torpedo range. And yes, my dinosaurs are awake right now, and they hear me talking, so they want to try to talk with me. Calm down, guys. So right there, I'm just being patient. I'm giving time for a destroyer to kind of try to sneak his way up in this vicinity. I drop torps, and what I don't want to happen and the Worcester just popped up, so it's not a concern. I didn't want a radar cruiser to push up into this island and be able to radar me and basically be allow this cruiser to sneak, within 8 kilometers of me. That'd be a really bad play if I let that happen. So I was basically trading space for security from the radar. And I'm letting my team know, this guy's here. And I'm starting to count right now, and this is, I got 6 ships in the north. Now this Yamato is pretty close to their cap. He could turn on a dime and, be in the fight with me if I go to pick a fight with this DD. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start to position myself to actually make this push. Like I've said before, 1v1 with another Shimakaze, I'll take that fight any day of the week. Um, that's usually a very good engagement for me to have, and so I'm pushing up here, and what I'm doing, I'm being patient. I want to give this Yamato time to get away from the cap. I don't want any of these guys interfering with what I got going on. And, I'm kind of anticipating that this DD is either sitting here or up in here somewhere. And, I'm anticipating a run basically through here, and that's why I'm dropping those torps. I don't, with this DD being up here, I don't like this position because you've given the enemy, a third of the map. So I'm popping speed boost. We pick up the first kill, which is huge there, and that's why I wanted my team to go heavy, is they'll have more guns, more DPM, and, theoretically they should be able to get the kill. It turns out the enemy team, they rolled heavy up there too, but this Yamato, he came all the way down to C, so his guns, I think, were out of the fight for a lot of that. So at this point, I'm pushing. I want to pick this fight, and right here I realize I'm not going to be able. This guy's, he's not near me. I'm not going to be able to pick the fight, so I'm going to switch into capping mode. At this point, I realize we're going to go around each other. I'm trying to ping my Des Moines and let him know there's a DD in here somewhere. And I bet you if he radared right now, he'd pick him up somewhere right in here. But this is the difference between having RPF and not having RPF. This guy does this big, long, out of the way, took him a while to get up there, push, and whereas I drove straight in, and I was only going to come here to double back to try to hunt this destroyer, but I see this Hindenburg pushing up, and he's almost within torp range, so I'm gonna see if I can get something sneaky in here, and I'm gonna show you guys one way to you kind of make guys feel like they're safe when they're really not. He's turning into the cap to cap. He probably thinks I'm back down here. And what I do, I duck in behind this island. He's unspotted. Now, typically, players, when they're unspotted, they feel safe. So they're not likely to pop hydro, pop, radar or anything like that. So I'm intentionally keeping this island between me and this Hindenburg. In the meantime, I've got this big spread of torps out there to try to harass him. And he pops up, and my torps are right there, and he's going to take 2. And those two torps, I mean, he's down to a third HP. By the time he heals, he'll be back up to half HP. It really hinders his ability to push down here and support this Shimakaze on A cap. If he does, we've got a Conqueror that's starting to push back down. And really, I think those torpedoes were kind of clutch, um, because it's gonna tie up this Shimakaze's support. And I mean, this guy's he's still going for it, and this isn't something I really endorse. If this Conqueror is shooting HE, um, he's got no repair. Uh, he's gonna end up with a lot of fires. Well, not only to mention he's broadside to a Des Moines and a Conqueror. But again, my RPF is telling me that Shima is further than 9 kilometers from me, and that means that he's most likely gone out here. And I'm telling my team, hey, you need to start watching for torps. He's clicking too that, you know, that's a good shot by our Conqueror. Just deletes that Hindenburg, makes my job easy. And at this point, the enemy team, it's been depleted enough up north. We've got a general push here, and the Zhao and the Conqueror is coming down. Now, the Conqueror makes a smart move. Don't hang around if you're in a battleship facing a Shimakaze. Just pull back. I'm going to be on the cap here shortly. We've got a Zhao pushing down. Now, I've got, a miscellaneous RPF reading. Probably on the Worcester. Well, it'd have to be on the Worcester. And, I mean, at this point, I'm knowing that this guy he's out there. And, the whole time this is going on, points are just ticking in favor for my team. We've got almost 400 more points than them, and that's the kind of impact that those kinds of moves of backcapping have on the enemy. I mean, they ended up losing all of their points for a period of time, and we ended up having 2 caps for a little bit, and it all just adds up. The Shimakaze is spotted, and I mean, at this stage, he's dead. His box is basically like this right now, and it's just going to get tighter and tighter. They're not even on C cap yet, so we're back to 2 caps ticking. We've got actually full 3 caps ticking. And again, just gonna keep pushing this Shima. Honestly, time's gonna run out. We're gonna be up on points. Their Worcester finally starts capping C, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we're less than 100 points from winning this, and it's this kind of spiral that cap control gives your team, particularly if you combine it with a kill or two. It just, in this game, this Shimakaze did not have time to do these kinds of fancy moves. He didn't have time to come all the way out here. He needed to stay and defend and hold B cap and not try to, go for damage. Should have let my team try to push back into B cap and try to kill them. And, that's game. Now, this game's also interesting. This is the first 3 full base capture game I have, so I'm interested to look at it from, the XP standpoint. As far as the base XP, there's not a lot of significant damage. I mean, half damage to a Hindenburg, basically. Um, but if you look, you know, not even 1400 base XP. Most of that, I'd probably say all of the caps were probably about worth 900 XP altogether. So capping does not give you, that great of a reward. And I'm just eyeballing, you know, the XP figures based on, what I've seen in previous games with, damage amounts and just kind of estimating. And I think I'm pretty close. Obviously, Wargaming doesn't release that information. Um, but this is one of those things that it the economy is not fair when it comes to rewarding certain types of um, behaviors. I mean, you look at this: 120 of my team's 160 cap points. You could definitely tell where I spent my time. Uh, and again, this was a relatively boring game, but this was also good destroyer play. Um, this is an example of, I'm just going to go out there and just keep not only just denying the enemy points, but also taking the points and feeding my team. And those points added up and helped my team a lot and ended this battle a lot quicker than it otherwise could have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I know it's not the super exciting game that I usually will try to post a little more action-packed games. Um, but I wanted to have a game just number one, show the XP rewards for capping. 3 full base captures in a ranked game. That's a lot. That's like in the top 10 percentile of capping efforts that you're gonna have in games. You don't see too many beyond that, particularly full solo captures. Um, so hope you guys enjoyed the game. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later.